Is peace just a dream for the Palestinian people? As leaders speak and promises echo through the halls of the UN, millions in Gaza face hunger, destruction, and fear. What happens next? Let's uncover the truth behind the speeches.
Thank you very much. Thank you. I'm Ambassador Kolisek, permanent representative of Senegal and newly elected chair of the Committee on the Exercise of the Inalienable Rights of Palestinian People for 2025. We address you following the committee's first meeting of 2005, during which the Bureau was elected by acclamation. The newly elected Bureau comprises His Excellency Neville Melville Gers from Namibia, Vice Chair, His Excellency Jem Hermida Castillo from Nicaragua, Vice Chair, His Excellency Armanata Christianwan Nasir, Indonesia, Vice Chair, His Excellency Ernesto Soborio Guzman, Cuba, Vice Chair, His Excellency Ahmad Faisal Mohamad, Malaysia, Vice Chair and Rapporteur. We are also joined by His Excellency Riyad Mansour, permanent observer of the Honorable State of Palestine. As chair, I reaffirm the committee's unwavering commitment to Palestinian rights. On 31st January, the Bureau welcomed the Gaza ceasefire as a critical step in halting military operation and addressing immense humanitarian suffering. We demand its full implementation and sustained humanitarian access for Gaza's 2.2 million residents who face devastation, displacement, and disease. The committee commends the mediation efforts by Egypt, Qatar, and the United States and urges continued engagement, especially by the Security Council, toward a lasting cessation of hostilities and the release of all hostages. However, we strongly condemn Israel's ban on UNRWA, which obstructs vital humanitarian operation in direct violation of the UN mandate and General Assembly resolutions. UNRWA is irreplaceable in stabilizing the ceasefire and supporting Gaza's recovery. This ban, imposed immediately after the ceasefire deal, will deepen Gaza's suffering not throughout airstrike but throughout deprivation, hunger, and disease. We call on Israel to immediately reverse this decision, which accelerates humanitarian collapse. As reaffirmed by the International Court of Justice, Israel, as the occupying power, has no sovereignty in the occupied Palestinian territory, including East Jerusalem, where UNRWA operates. This ban is unlawful as occupation itself and must end. We strongly condemn the excessive and indiscriminate use of force by Israeli forces and demand the immediate lifting of the siege on the Jenin refugee camp in the occupied West Bank and the immediate stop to the deliberate destruction of neighborhoods and homes using explosives. The devastation in Jenin has resulted in the collapse of critical infrastructure, including UNRWA's health clinic, which was bombed in recent attacks. Humanitarian aid to refugees must be allowed to enter to restore essential services and provide urgent relief. Looking ahead, the committee's 2025 program of work prioritizes diplomatic engagement, mobilizing member states and engaging the Security Council, awareness raising and advocacy, including global dissemination of updates, information, and knowledge via social media and Committee UNASPAL website. Cooperation, including partnering with intergovernmental and CSOs and NGOs, and capacity building supporting Palestinian government staff training. We rely on the media to keep focus to expose the rampant violations, occupation, and threats to a viable two-state solution. I now give the floor to His Excellency Riyad Mansour.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, and congratulations for being elected as the chairman of the committee and the Bureau, and also congratulations to my colleague, the Vice Chair. As we all know, the mandate of this unique committee of its kind at the United Nations, the mandate by the General Assembly, is to help the Palestinian people for the attainment of their inalienable rights, including their right to self-determination, statehood, and the right of the refugees to return. So this is the mandate legislated by the General Assembly for this committee, and this committee is working day and night in order to fulfill this mandate, which requires the end of this illegal occupation articulated by the ICJ, and for the two-state solution to become a reality. We are grateful for the committee for carrying out its mandate and continuing to work for this objective. It will be celebrating its 50th birthday very soon, and it will add to their activities through mandates from the General Assembly, not only to commemorate the International Day of Solidarity with the Palestinian people in November 29, but as legislated by the General Assembly, we will start commemorating annually on the 15th of May, the day of Nakba for the Palestinian people. We in the state of Palestine and the Palestinian people are so grateful to this committee for its work and for all the efforts that it is putting in place in order to help the Palestinian people to attain their inalienable national rights, to accomplish their objectives for freedom and dignity. We know that the committee is also against all of the evil things that are happening against our people in the Gaza Strip. It was and still active at the legal front, also with legal teams in the ICJ and the ICC for the historic articulation of the ICJ of its advisory opinion, in which it characterized this occupation as being illegal, and therefore it has to be terminated as quickly as possible. In the many efforts and programs that we are involved in, the committee will be very active in the preparation for the international conference coming June in order to see this illegal occupation being terminated and the two-state solution to become a reality. We will also have the committee very active in the effort of the international alliance, the global alliance for the two-state solution, composed of 85 member states and groups and agencies, and the committee, of course, because of its mandate to attain the inalienable rights of the Palestinian people, will be active in this global alliance. The committee is extremely active in the defense of UNRWA for the continuation of its noble work for serving the 6 million plus Palestine refugees through a mandate given to it by the General Assembly, and no country has the power to change that mandate illegally, as the State of Israel tried, to do. So we are grateful for what the committee is doing, along with more than 125 countries at the United Nations, in defending UNRWA, in funding UNRWA, in continuing the work of UNRWA until there is a just political solution to the refugee questions through the implementation of Resolution 194 of the General Assembly. The committee is very active in many things, and we are grateful, for this effort of the committee. It is the last committee of its kind in the United Nations. It has a mandate from the General Assembly. It is well respected by the great majority of member states, and we are proud in the state of Palestine that we have this committee at the United Nations to help us for the attainment of our inalienable rights. With regard, you might ask, of some of the statements that were made recently, that that the idea of kicking the Palestinian people over from the Gaza Strip, I just want to tell you that during the last 24 hours, statements from heads of states of Egypt, of Jordan, of the state of Palestine, of Saudi Arabia, and many countries, including countries who spoke in the debate in the room behind us during the meeting of the committee, They condemn these efforts. There is global consensus on not allowing forced transfer to take place, ethnic cleansing to take place. We Palestinians love every part of the state of Palestine. We love the Gaza Strip. It is part of our DNA. Our people marched in few hours in the span of 2 days from the south to the north, more than 400,000 of them, to go to the rebels in the northern Gaza in order to start cleaning around their destroyed homes. These are our homes. This is a very precious part of the state of Palestine, and we will never leave it. We will clean it. We will reconstruct it. We will rebuild it. We will make it a very beautiful part of the state of Palestine. We do not need anyone to kick us out in order to do something else in it. And there is consensus among the Arabs and the Muslims on this issue, because it was decided in 2 summits in Riyadh during the course of the year 2024, twice the summits of the Arabs and the Muslims, in which they said, we fight against the crime against humanity of displacement, whether internally or from Gaza, outside Gaza. There is no place for us except Palestine, and Gaza is an important part of Palestine. We want the ceasefire to be permanent. We want all provisions of the agreement to be implemented, and we want this aggression against our people in the northern part of the Gaza Strip to be stopped. We condemn it, and we want the Israeli forces to withdraw from Jenin, from the refugee camp of Jenin, from Tulkarem, from the refugee camp of Tulkarem, from the northern part of the West Bank, from all of the West Bank. We want the end of this illegal occupation. Thank you very much. You know, the media is a good friend of the cause of Palestine. We appreciate your work. We appreciate covering the stories related to Palestine. You are a very important part of the struggle for justice for the Palestinian people, and we thank you for your work. Thank you very much.
Some questions?
Well, the chairman, you want to take some questions? Yes. Okay. Yes, sir.
Yes, Stefano Vaccaro, Ital Press, La Voce di New York. It seems, I mean, very timing meeting, of course, but it seems like the Trump administration changed slightly what he said yesterday, because today they started to talk about a temporarily remove of the Palestinians just for cleaning up or reconstruct the Gaza. So what is you, Ambassador, but also the committee, what is the response to President Trump? They apparently yesterday did maybe a language mistake, talk about permanently, but he's fixing Gaza and then the Palestinian can return. What is your answer to President Trump?
Do you want to say something, Mr. Chairman?
Go ahead.
You want to? Okay. Well, for us, and I said heads of states in the Middle East from among the Arab group, and many governments made statements that, including the Secretary General of the United Nations, a few days ago, and he repeated that today in the meeting of the Committee on the Exercise of the Inalienable Rights. Ethnic cleansing is unacceptable. In the agreement, which the current administration played a role in reaching that agreement, of the 3 stages, there is a provision that says the reconstruction of Gaza and people in Gaza to go back to the places where they lived in. So these are the facts, and we are determined to honor and respect these facts, and therefore that is the policy that has been announced and declared. So anything else other than that cannot materialize, and those who are explaining themselves, these are, you can ask them these issues, but that's what we, the international community, led by the Secretary General of the UN, that's what international law stipulates, that is what the Arabs and the Muslims position at the level of the summit. This is the position of many countries, including in Europe and in all corners of the globe. They will not allow ethnic cleansing to take place. Abdul Hamid.
Thank you. Thank you, Ambassador. I have two questions, one for the chairman of the committee and one for Ambassador Riyad. Mr. Ambassador Sek, do you see that there is a war, comprehensive war against the Palestinians to annihilate their cause? There is a war in the West Bank and dismantling of UNRWA, attacking the mass destruction of Gaza, and also add to that the statement of Trump to force eviction of the Palestinian people. Put them together, you see a comprehensive war against the Palestinian people. What could be done to end that many-faceted war against the Palestinians?
What could be done is just to implement the resolutions of United Nations, the General Assembly, Security Council resolutions. The committee is working based on a mandate and based on what have been decided by the international community. If we respect what we have decided in the United Nations in this same place, I think that we could find a solution for this war and make sure that Palestinian people will get their inalienable rights based on all decision resolutions that have been taken here, and we have a mandate to remember everybody that we are a committee that has been created by the United Nations, and we are on the right side of history, and we want peace. We want a lasting peace. We want a state of Palestine with all rights and his full place in the international community. Now, people can make comment, but we are hopeful that with the Secretary General and all efforts around the world, we could get a solution on this crisis.
My question to Ambassador Riyad. In 2018, when Trump himself recognized Jerusalem as the state capital of Israel, the eternal capital, you brought up a draft resolution to the Security Council. It was vetoed. It was voted 14 against 1. And then you took the issue to the General Assembly, and there was a vast majority of votes against recognizing Jerusalem as the eternal capital of Israel. Would you do similar steps this time?
Well, I am aware, and maybe you are also aware, that there is a ministerial committee of 6 of Arab countries, led by Saudi Arabia, membership of Egypt, Jordan, Qatar, United Arab Emirates, and the State of Palestine. They issued a statement a few days ago, reaffirming clear principles defending the rights of the Palestinian people, and also, according to the media, they send those foreign ministers' letter to Secretary of State Rubio, reaffirming similar principles. These are the positions of 6 very important Arab states at a higher level. Now, I was instructed by President Abbas to go to the Security Council for an emergency action and meeting on the aggression against our people in the northern part of the West Bank. Through consultation, starting with the President of the Security Council, China, and also consultation with the Arab representative in the Security Council, Algeria, and others, including Somalia, France, and many other members in the Security Council. A meeting was convened yesterday. We are grateful for the support from 14 members who were ready and willing to produce a reaction, a product of the Council. Unfortunately, one member decided not to do anything. I said in front of the Security Council, we will come back again to the Security Council, to the General Assembly, to every component of the international community in order to stop this aggression against our people, to allow the ceasefire to be permanent in Gaza, to extend it to all parts of the occupied territory of the State of Palestine. Today, in the meeting of this committee, in the presence of the Secretary General himself, there were statements by the Secretary General, by many member states, by the chairman, by the representative of the State of Palestine, all of it effort in the direction that you are asking for, the direction that we believe in, and we will continue the efforts in tomorrow or the day after. We asked for an emergency meeting of the Council of Arab Ambassadors. We might have meetings of the OIC ambassadors, the African group, the Latin American groups, the European groups. We are continuing the efforts so that the international community to be mobilized in order to stop this aggression against our people. Does this mean that we might not go to the Security Council again? No, we might. Does this mean that we will not go back to the General Assembly? We might. But the tactics of what we did last year were affected by the conditions of last year. The tactics that we will use now, it will be affected by the condition of this moment. But the objective is the same: to stop aggression against our people, to have a ceasefire, to save lives of the Palestinian people, and to reconstruct the Gaza Strip, and to open doors for political horizon to end this illegal occupation. So this preparation of the convening of the international conference, we are not going to have a conference to make statements and to issue a communique. We are going to start a process in which every member state and political group and regional group to declare commitment, concrete commitment, based on international law and what the ICJ asked for. What are you going to do concretely in order to contribute to ending this illegal occupation? So by the time we come to June, there will be a summation of all these efforts. Israel, this occupying authority, does not understand anything other than we have to make this occupation pay a huge price for violating the international law and in preaching it, and therefore to be forced to move in the direction of ending this occupation. Somebody want to? Yes.
Ambassador Mansour, Chris Reyes with the Canadian Broadcasting Corporation. I just wanted to quote directly from what President Trump said last night. He said the only reason the Palestinians want to go back to Gaza is they have no alternative. He went on to say the U.S. will take over the Gaza Strip. We will do a job with it. We'll own it. I'd like to hear your immediate reaction when you heard those comments.
The Gaza Strip is not a free land for anyone to grab it. The Gaza Strip, it belongs to the Palestinian people and the Palestinian people who live in the Gaza Strip. It is not a free piece of land for anyone to grab. Those days in history are gone. Every piece of land in any country belongs to the people who live on this piece of land. Therefore, we are determined to stay in the Gaza Strip, and it is not true that they don't have an alternative, because the people who were in the southern part of the Gaza Strip, when the checkpoints of the Israeli occupying forces were removed from the midsection between the north and the south, 400,000 in a span of 2 days, 2 hours each day, walked on their feet to go back to the northern part. Now, for some people might not understand the meaning and value of having a country and loving the land of your country. For us, the Palestinian people, it is in our DNA. We love our country. We love the land of our country, whether we have palaces on it or destroyed buildings. We are resilient people. Gaza Strip was destroyed many times in the past. We were able to rebuild it with the help of all of our friends. We are determined to rebuild it. People, when they went back in the north to clean these areas, because they want to stay there, they have memories, they have connection with the land. When they walk over the land talks to them. This is so meaningful to us as Palestinians. We will clean a small spot. We will put a tent there. We will put a caravan there until we succeed in rebuilding that part of the Gaza Strip.
Sir, do you think President Trump is hearing those sentiments?
I don't know, but I'm just telling you what we, the Palestinian people, feel. These should be respected. These are the decisions of the Palestinian people. Nobody should make the decisions for us. We make them ourselves. And while we are making these decisions to be connected with our land which we love, we want the help of anyone who is sincere in order to have peace in our region, regardless of who is that one. What we want is peace. We don't want the seeds of hatred and being expelled outside our countries and to remain in exile. If some people, their story was accepted, they're returning to the Holy Land after 2,000 years. Is it puzzling for us to return to our homes after exile after 1 year? Why is it so difficult to be comprehended? Of course we want to have the best possible homes that we can live in it. Our government is ready and willing, and it is negotiating as we speak with Egypt. Our Prime Minister is there in order to be allowed to shoulder our responsibilities for cleaning Gaza, for fixing the hospitals, for fixing the schools, for the kids to go back. Allow UNRWA to fix the schools, to fix the clinics, fix the roads, fix the water system, electricity. These are the people who are allowing hope to flourish, not to keep living in despair and destruction. Allow the hope to flourish. Allow the cleaning to begin. Allow the reconstruction to begin. Allow the people to go back and live in peace and to live in life. These are the qualities of the Palestinian people. And anyone who is really sincere about peace and humanity should allow us to do so and should help us to do so by facilitating for us all the help in order to begin this process of rehealing and rebuilding Gaza. I think we are enough. Thank you. And we are grateful that you are here. We are grateful.
In closing, the Committee on the Exercise of the Inalienable Rights of the Palestinian People, under the leadership of Ambassador Kolaseg and the newly elected Bureau, reaffirms its steadfast commitment to advocating for the rights of the Palestinian people, including their right to self-determination, statehood, and the return of refugees. The committee calls for the full implementation of the Gaza ceasefire, condemns Israel's ban on UNRWA, and urges the immediate lifting of the siege on Jenin. It emphasizes the need for continued diplomatic engagement, global advocacy, and cooperation with intergovernmental organizations, civil society, and the media to expose violations and push for a viable two-state solution. Looking ahead, the committee's 2025 program of work will focus on strengthening partnerships, building Palestinian capacity, and ensuring the world remains attentive to the ongoing struggle for freedom and dignity. With upcoming milestones like the 50th anniversary of the committee and the annual Nakba commemoration, the resolve to end the illegal occupation and make the two-state solution a reality remains unwavering. The committee stands united with the Palestinian people, working relentlessly towards justice, peace, and lasting stability.